The days-long search for two missing boys from Pensacola is over and both are safe. Officials say that they were found Monday morning in Lincoln County near Brookhaven, Mississippi. 6-year-old Caden Wall and his brother Colden Wall were taken by their non-custodial mother, Sarah Caswell. She is now in police custody. Pascagoula Police Chief Matt Chapman and the kids were staying with their foster family, and they were taken during the supervised visit with the mom at Beach Park in Pascagoula. Thankfully, no one was injured. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation issued an Amber Alert for the boys over the weekend, and it has since been canceled after locating them. With just a week today, Joe Biden holds a commanding lead over President Donald Trump in national polling, just as Hillary Clinton did in the run-up to the 2016 election. But polling doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, according to Trump's campaign, another important election metric suggests that Trump may not be trailing Biden as badly as polls show, or even at all. According to the Washington Examiner, Republicans have made significant strides in their voter registration efforts, indicating that grassroots support for the president may be greater than what the polls depict. Traditionally, voter registration is dominated by the Democratic Party. However, the campaign has made significant inroads in battleground states that will be key to winning the election, even flipping one state completely. Anyone who says that Trump or Biden is going to win by a landslide is too confident in their own view of the election. At this point in the race, either candidate could pull out the victory depending on the results of the swing states. This past Saturday, the Lions fell short to Jacksonville State. Head coach for the Lions, Coach Willis, goes to talk about some things as the Lions finished with a 7-point difference, 17-24. The game was close all the way until the fourth quarter. As it ticked down to the end, Jacksonville's defense came together to get a line stop to get their defense back on the field to kick the clock to seal in the win. Coach Willis says the game was close and there were some little things that we have to get better at, but we will keep on working through this to deal with everything that's going on.
Coach, a 24-17 loss to in-state rival Jacksonville State. What kind of growth did you see from last year's game against Jacksonville State to this year's?
Well, I saw a lot of growth. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the way we recruited, our way we match up personnel-wise, our size and length now. We're kind of with them in pretty much every position at this point in time. I think it was 30-11 last year, and we've closed the gap. Had our chances Saturday to win this football game, but man, we're getting there. We're chipping away. It's getting there. It's just it's funny talking to their coaches. We're standing there midfield, and he was complimenting us and saying, we're only playing 4 games and we're not playing for anything. He said, I don't know how you guys are doing this year in and year out, and especially playing 11 games knowing there's nothing at the end of the rainbow for you. But, we're used to it. We understand what we're going through over here. We only got one more year transition, and we're going to be rolling. But I'm proud of these guys. They're working hard, and, the fact now that we got an extra year of eligibility to go on top of it, we're using this for evaluation, and I think we're going to be able to use a lot of guys moving forward. It's going to help us in this program.
Watching the game film, a lot of things you liked. What'd you like? What'd you not like? Or what'd you take away?
Well, obviously, offensively, we moved the football. We got to score more points. Can't win a football game just scoring 17. We got to get the run game going a little better. We are seeing some really good front, so it's tough to get the run game going. But I think it's there. We just got to add to it a little bit. And then defensively, I can't really complain about a whole lot. When you hold people to 24 points in today's football game, you got to win the game. But we also got to know when we score, we got to turn right around and be able to. We just went ahead and then came right back and gave them a score to go right back up. So they answered it.
First down to get is the 35. Jacoby Bird motions out. Deaver underneath to Driggers. Room to run. Parker Driggers, the redshirt freshman from Brantley, Alabama, picks up the first down. Deaver throws underneath. Pass is complete. Surging ahead for the first down. That's the tight end, Corson Swan. Dexter Boyk in the motion man. Blitz comes. Deaver stands strong. Completion to Cortez Hall. Does he have enough for the first down? No, Gurley will hold. Contorno's kick is on the way. And he drills it. It's a give to Howell. A lane on the right side. He has the first down. Looking to do it again. Over the middle. Deaver to the tight end. Corson Swan into Jacksonville State territory. Knocked him out of it. Here's the give to Jackson, trying to stretch it out. KJ Smith, the Big South Scholar Athlete of the Year, getting physical right there. Pass out to Boykin. Trying to stiff arm his way to a first down. Jacksonville State fakes the pressure. Deaver has to step up. Steps out of Umstead Sanders. Deaver on the run. Has the tight end Corson Swan. Deaver steps up. He'll take off. Still going. Uses the size to take it down inside the 5. Parker Driggers, UNA's leading rusher on the season. He'll keep it up the middle. He has the touchdown. North Alabama goes back out in front.
Parker Driggers straight up the middle. Coverage here by Fagans. Just knocks it out of there.
University of North Alabama set to return to online courses after Thanksgiving break. The UNA COVID-19 Recovery Task Force was established at the end of April earlier this year. Endorsed by the Shared Governance Executive Committee, the task force is responsible for ensuring a safe environment for the UNA community while allowing students to continue their academic pursuits. The COVID-19 Recovery Task Force implemented several new safety protocols for the return of its students a couple of weeks prior to the start of the current fall semester. While on campus, students and employees are required to wear face coverings while maintaining social distance and performing daily health checks prior to arriving on campus. It was decided at the end of June earlier this year that UNA students would begin the fall semester with in-person instruction, but after Thanksgiving break, they will transition to online remote learning for the remainder of the semester. Due to the university's high number of international students, UNA housing and contracted food services, as well as student support services, will remain open for students who choose to stay on campus. In the ongoing pursuit of health and safety during the national pandemic, many students and their families are wondering how to protect themselves from the spread of coronavirus. In response to this concern, the UNA COVID-19 Recovery Task Force released an online 20-page document covering the details of the precautionary protocols in place while on campus. Speaking of Thanksgiving break, Residents Live has some exciting new updates as well. Resident Advisor Kyle Hall once again spoke to one of his fellow coworkers, Mason Stitt, to talk about what has changed for housing.
Recently, Housing and Residence Life has decided to switch from phase orange to phase yellow in regards to our visitation policies. And what that means is now UNA residential now have guests as long as they are a UNA student here. But there are some stipulations that come with that. One of those being that there are no overnight visitors allowed. The current visitation hours are from 10 in the morning to midnight. Also, please keep in mind that they need to have a guest with them at all times. They need to be escorted. And there only needs to be one guest per common area. So that could be a room, a study room, lobby, so on and so forth.
The pandemic displaced many things, more prominently the dreams and aspirations of the owners of a local business. Hit hard, they sought to pick themselves up one day at a time. Here is what the Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts did to stay alive in more ways than one.
Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts. Home to the office of Libby Jordan, Superintendent of Arts and Museums in Florence. Her businesses and others were deeply affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
I basically oversee the 4 city-owned museums, which is Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts, where we are now, the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Rosenbaum House, the new, 2 years old now, Florence Indian Mound Museum, and our historic Pope's Tavern.
Her and her staff had to make big changes regarding patron safety for her museums.
We were only allowing a limited number of people in each museum at one time. We are requiring masks, and we have sanitation stations throughout all the museums.
To adapt to the times, Jordan and her staff have increased an online presence in their museums. Art shows, children's art classes, lectures, and videos were all created so people at home could experience and participate virtually. They've also changed how touring is done at Alabama's lone Frank Lloyd Wright structure, the Rosenbaum House.
I think most of the tours are going to remain self-guided because people can spend as much time as they want in the house. They're able to take photographs, and these two things we can't allow in the guided tours because of our time constraints.
Jordan has been patiently waiting since March for things to get back to the way they were.
We're excited that everything is kind of getting back to normal now, and we're going to be able to start having some of the outdoor events that we usually have.
At these outdoor events, patrons are sure to see these cows on the front lawn and this avant-garde piece. Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts and the other 3 museums under Libby Jordan's jurisdiction are here for the people. They do not plan on going anywhere. This is Jonathan Hatchett reporting.
A portion of the Harrison Fountain collapsed December 18th, and consequently the majority of the structure had to be dismantled. After that, it soon became apparent that the fountain was a much-loved feature of UNA campus, and that it would have to be completely returned to its original design in order to honor the late Lara M. Harrison, who was an important part of the process, said President Ken Kitts. The overall cost of the project is expected to be $967,000, with $220,000 for fountain repair and $747,000 for construction, hardscape, plumbing, and electrical installation. Project funding will be provided through the reimbursement from the Alabama Department of Risk Management Insurance Fund and the private donor funds. The fountain will be replaced with more materials suitable to the North Alabama climate and will have a longer life than the original Italian limestone. Through the request for proposals process, Garden Ornament Stone has been selected to create the replacement for the fountain. The Harrison Fountain holds a special place in the hearts of our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. People are very excited to see it rebuilt. The Tennessee Titans were fined $350,000 for COVID-19 protocol violations. Sources say that the Titans were fined for instances of failure to comply with requirements on wearing masks and insufficient clear communication regarding workouts outside the facility. The Titans had the biggest outbreak for the football team this year, and the league is taking the right precautions so that they can keep the players the rest of the season with no outbreaks again. That's why the NFL is putting more fines and giving bigger punishments for those who don't follow the guidelines. At least 22 people were killed when an incomplete 3-story building fell in eastern Ghana, emergency workers said Friday. The incident happened on Tuesday when the church group conducted a service which was still under development in the town of Akim Batabi in the eastern region, according to the Richard Amoyardi, official of the National Disaster Management Organization. There were 11 women among the deceased, a baby, and 10 men, Amoyardi said. A recovery squad of ambulance personnel, police, soldiers, and firefighters looked for survivors stuck inside the house. The number of missing persons remained unknown on Friday, although 8 wounded people were admitted to the hospital. According to Amoyardi, it is confirmed that more than 60 people were present at the site of the accident. United States territory, Samoa, has had no recorded COVID-19 cases. Some say it is due to their strict closure of their borders, though positive for those regarding in the territory. Citizens who were out of the country when quarantine began haven't been able to see home yet. Samoa has no confirmed cases of COVID-19 within its borders. Public services by both government and the business sectors are available. Supermarkets, produce and fish markets, schools, and universities are open. Weekly church services are permitted. Social distancing of 2 meters must be observed. Wedding and funeral services are allowed given the attendance is restricted to 50 couples and social distancing is maintained. Public transport is also widely available. The government continues to maintain restrictions for public operating hours and large gatherings. Because of their guidelines, Samoa has managed to keep the deadly virus not just at bay, but away entirely. 60,000 people reside in Samoa. There are an estimated 600 who have been dismantled or displaced. Some think that the risk of contamination is worth it to help bring its residents back home after a 7-month hiatus. Al Jazeera has listed other countries that have not reported any COVID cases. They are as follows: Kiribati, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, Palaua, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Turkmenistan, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, and lastly, North Korea. My name is Destiny, and this is UNA News.